Welcome in to the Rodg podcast. If you're listening live, or if you're listening to our rebroadcast,
yes,
later on in your life, or later on in our lives, we're actually watching a little bit of the College World Series. So
yeah,
all of a sudden, Rod's like, "Oh, hey, we're on." Thank you for everybody listening across Facebook, YouTube, and let me see if I can get this right, like the boss says, the Twitter
sphere.
Yeah. So. And Raj, I got a little as soon as I find it. So you don't get talked about watching the College World Series, and all of a sudden it's here, and now you're just kind of like
I mean, I'm entertained because it is sports and there's not too much going on right now. So after this I might turn into like she should be Oh my gosh. This is a new for us. I'm sorry. There's a little banner going through the middle of our screening form here. Wow, that was funny. I can't wait to see what our followers and our listeners list, like if they like it or not, if they wanted, what they want to say in the what do we call this now?
That's the ticker.
The ticker. Okay, so, is that our ticker?
Everyone else has done theirs, and we're slackers. So we're
like, we had to wait. Well, we had to wait for everybody else to do theirs, so we know what to do and what not to do. So
no, we're not slackers. We're special.
Exactly. We're calculated.
There you go. I like that. So, Rod, before we dive into the meat of everything, what was the real reason for not watching College World Series? Is this baseball? Is it just something you just don't feel like you can ever get into?
Yeah, for me, it's baseball. Guess as a child, and Herb and I played, for those who don't know, Herb and I both played Little League baseball for a few years. I just didn't have a lot of good memories. All my teams weren't that great. Standing in the outfield for a long time, or just standing on the field waiting and just getting your butt whoops. We weren't bad players. It just wasn't fun and exciting to me. So never really been into baseball. Now I do watch, and I can admit this, I do watch the Little League World Series every year. I think it starts in August, I believe. I watch that because it kind of gives me those fond memories, and the games are shorter. It's cool to see the kids go through, but College World Series and MLB, I not really into it, but that might change one day.
Right. I will say this, there is a little bit of SEC pride. Watching LSU and Florida go at it. But at the same time, I know if Alabama was in this, everybody in the conference would be rooting against us.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of, obviously SEC is going to win this thing.
Yeah.
I almost didn't want LSU to win. I know this is ridiculous, but because they also won the college, the women's
back. Yeah.
And you'd start seeing these posts. We're in everything school, even though
I was just about to say that's what's going to happen if they win this baseball game. We dominate the SEC. Like, okay, we'll see. Because we all know it's going to come down to football anyway. If you don't win in football, then you're kind of behind a little bit. But no, if let's just be honest. If Alabama was playing right now, I'd be like, man, we might have to adjust the time for this for our podcast because I might actually pay attention to that.
Yeah. I'm looking a little right now. LSU's up 6-2. They just had a big inning because I want to say they started the inning down 2-1.
Okay.
Had the bases loaded twice and a hit by pitch brought in a run, a couple singles. Florida started off the scoring with a 2-run home run in the first, and then it's just kind of been downhill since then. So,
Gotcha.
I'll have it on while we do the show. I can't promise anybody that it will stay on after the show is over. But we'll see. So anyway, thanks again, everybody listening. Shout out to a couple other podcasts out there. Of course, They Call Me Mr. U. Checked him out this morning. Rod,
shout out to Mr. U.
He had a GOAT conversation, but he approached it from a different angle.
Yeah.
Who should be part of the GOAT conversation that usually isn't. So
I like that angle because you're so used to hearing all the other stuff, and when it comes to Jordan and LeBron, it's so exhausting now from hearing all these different standpoints, and then whenever LeBron reaches a new milestone, there's always people that bring up different stuff like, well, LeBron probably eats with his left hand. Michael Jordan would never eat with his left hand. He's the guy. It's like, oh, come on. It's so exhausting listening to this stuff.
It really is. It really is. And today's generation is way more stats based than previous generations. So that always comes up now. And they even brought it up on the show. Like you're pretty much partial though to who you grew up watching. And I even posted, I was like, Jordan's always going to be my GOAT because that's who I grew up watching.
Right.
And of course, Mr. U was like, "No, Herb, you're better than that." And I said, "No, I'm not better than that."
Yeah.
I'm pretty simple when it comes to my explanations.
Yeah, I still have Jordan as the GOAT too. Still, I'm still a huge LeBron fan, and like I've told her plenty of times, LeBron, you get me one more ring, hey, I might have to move Michael over and move Michael to 1B. I don't even want to say 2, but 1B.
Right. And people act like it's an insult though for somebody to rank you number 2. I wish right now somebody would tell me that I was number 2 ever basketball player. I would be excited and celebrate that every moment. But
yep.
Maybe we just don't know what we're talking about on some of that. But anyway, that was a good discussion this morning. They called me Mr. U, and Guy Online Football Talk with Bo was his guest, so they talked about it. So we threw some comments out there.
Yeah.
Of course, always a Shake Back Media group.
Yes, shout out to Shake
Willie's
Back.
all over the place. I don't even know which one to tell you about because he's all over the place. So,
Willie is multifunctional, multi-purpose, multi-talented guy. Shout out to Willie. We appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. And then the Air Raid Attack podcast.
What's up, Mike? What's up, Air Raid?
So definitely.
Evening, sir.
Yep. And that one, he announced it the other week, but I'm already looking forward to the Oklahoma game. We're going to go out there and do a live podcast with him.
Yep. Cannot wait. Looking forward to that. I can't wait till they announce the schedule too, to see what day that
what that is.
That game's going to be. Yeah.
And I'll have to take off that whole month probably. Sorry, I'm busy.
Yep.
And he had a good thing with it. Jordan, greatest player of all time. LeBron, greatest career of all time. And I like when people put it that way. It doesn't have to be like a knock on somebody else.
Because you're giving kudos to both players in a nice I like it. And I can see where that is, validated as well. So that's cool. Shout out to E. What's going on, E?
And E, what do we call it? Summer to-do list with E?
E's NBA summer to-do list.
Yes, and he will be tackling the Sacramento Kings later on in the show. So
awesome.
We're ready for that. So that was the filler, I guess, to start off the show. So, I did want to ask you this, Rodg. If you ever were going to get into baseball, this will be the really quick question. We're moving on. What is the one series that you would want to start off with, or the one game?
What do you mean, like World Series or what?
No, regular season. Would it have to start off with a Red Sox Yankees game, or would you want to go to Houston because they're closer and you could just drive down there, or wherever the Texas Rangers are? I don't even know where they are.
They're in Arlington. Honestly, just due to location, it'd probably be a Rangers game. Maybe Rangers versus Astros, and I don't even know if they play each other. But I guess just because I'm here in Texas, that would be it. I feel like every time I turn on ESPN on Sunday Night Baseball, it's the Yankees playing the Red Sox. Like, I don't know how many times they play each other a season. That's just ridiculous.
Because they're in the same division. I want to say 18 games, right? It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Divisional.
But
Houston, I want to say also, Rodg moved to the American League somewhere.
They're in the American League, yeah.
But they weren't always.
I don't remember when they were in the National
League. Yeah.
You know what? They were, because that's back when they had Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio, I think. They were in the net. You're right. You're right.
This shows you how long it's been since
we've been a minute for us, because we used to collect the baseball cards, and Herb was a big Andre Dawson fan back in the day.
For whatever reason, yeah.
I was the kid. I like the kid, Ken Griffey Jr., so bring back some memories.
Here's some new from the Air Raid podcast. Particularly first week in October, we see. Oh, that's great. It's going to be the same weekend as my 5th anniversary. So.
Mike went like this.
Oh. You guys are just going to have to help me pitch that idea.
You better start being nice to Brent now.
Yeah. Oh, yes, honey. Love you.
Well, I got to do the same thing to see if I can make it out of here, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
And then he has a suggestion to go see the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
I don't even know where they are, but they got Ohtani and Trout on the same team, so that's a big draw.
For however much longer they have them on there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you ready to get into a little bit of NBA draft news?
Let's do it, baby. All right, that was a bit much.
Yeah, just a little bit. First off, did you watch the whole draft?
I did not watch the whole draft. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually at the gym.
And Mike said, let's hope it's the third weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow.
Mike, any other weekend. I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
I was actually at the gym watching, but I was watching the draft on my phone. So I guess to answer your question, I watched some of it, but I never really watched the whole draft. I like watching the first couple of picks because after that,
This is what the first year forever we've been excited about the first couple picks, right?
I'm just not familiar with all of the names after the first few picks, so it's just kind of like who goes where. And then I pay attention for the Lakers picks for obvious reasons. But yeah, where do you want to get started? I mean, there's no surprise at number one. We knew Victor Wembanyama was going to San Antonio. I think it's a good fit for him. Good.
Definitely good organization.
Good organization. Good coach.
Obviously, you think there's too much pressure on him early?
No, nothing that he hasn't experienced before, probably. So, I mean, the pressure is going to be there, but anybody who watches the game knows that the Spurs are probably not going to make it to the playoffs next year. It's going to be a nice uphill battle, but they just have to do whatever it takes to kind of surround him with the right pieces over the next few years and take a page out of what LeBron's first 7-8 years in Cleveland. Don't just hope and pray that Victor Wembanyama can lead your team by himself. Get him the right pieces. I don't know what San Antonio's drafts look like next year. I don't know what their picks look like, so I'd have to go off that. But
good. I don't feel like they've shipped out a whole lot of their own picks though, so I feel like they've been stockpiling and so Mr. Hughes, who I forgot how to do, not forgot. I was looking for the banners, but I didn't realize you just type one in over here. So I was an idiot. Yeah. So I had to hit him up before, and he's like, "You good?" So
yeah,
we appreciate you.
Shout out to Mr. U.
Yep, he's every Monday morning, 8 p.m. Central,
8 a.m. 8 a.m.
Yep. So we always try to catch him whenever possible. Usually on our drives to work or stuff like that, but he's always got an entertaining show. Yeah, I mean, the setup for him is good. I do think that they have their own picks, but I feel like it's almost one of those situations where, like, if he doesn't get Rookie of the Year, people are going to be like, "Is he a bust already?"
Yeah. That happens every year, and that's just the big question mark about the draft is like they're drafting based on his potential and his upside and everything, but we never know. What if he goes out here his first game and God forbid anything bad happened, or maybe he hurts himself or hurts his ankle?
Okay, Chet Holmgren, why are you wishing that?
I know.
Thanks a lot, Rodg.
I'm sorry about that.
The lesson, as always, don't play summer league with LeBron.
With LeBron, yeah. And I think the Spurs organization will probably take Victor in and probably try to put a few pounds on him if they can. I mean, he's 7. Like what? How tall is he? He's like 7. I've seen him listed at 7'2", 7'4", 7'5". I don't know. He's tall, but. I forgot
taller than both of us combined. That's all I know.
Yeah, and I forgot what his weight was, but I think he's been playing at that size for a certain number of years, and that's what he's comfortable doing. So
yeah, he actually had a talk with Jay Billis, Rodg, at the draft about adding weight and strength, and he was like, it was important for him to not lose his mobility.
Right.
So it's not just going to be 7'5". He confirmed. So
7'5". Okay.
I was closest with 7'6", so I win that.
Well, I had the most guesses. I said 7'2", 7'4", 7'5". So yeah.
I mean, I guess if you just wanted to guess it,
yeah,
that's the Herb and Rodg strategy. Just guess till you get it right.
That is ridiculously tall. That is crazy.
Yeah. But that was his thing. Like, he does want to add some muscle, but he doesn't want to lose his mobility or do anything crazy just to get to that. So. Right. I see that. But that, I mean, obviously everyone knew that was coming. The worst kept secret in basketball for like the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah. So that brings you to number 2. Now, obviously, we mentioned this because we didn't want to say it because we were biased. And apparently, the Charlotte fans really wanted Scoot.
Right.
They get Brandon Miller, who is a better fit next to Ball.
LaMelo. Yeah.
LaMelo. But honestly, like, what did you think about that? Were you expecting that?
What do you mean, the crowd reaction or what?
No, him getting picked there.
I kind of expected that because they had been talks about either him or Scoot going there, and so I was okay with it. And I kind of expected Brandon Miller to go there. I think, as you mentioned, it's going to be a nice little backcourt. Well, it depends on if they put him at the 2 or if they put him at the 3. If they put him at the 2, having LaMelo is extremely unselfish, and then having a good shooter right there, you have a nice little young backcourt to start off with, and then of course, they're going to need to build around these 2 guys as usual. So
yeah, and hopefully and I know you see that. Hey, just dropping by.
Yeah, shout out to David for his Monday night criticism. So we appreciate you, David.
Oh,
looking forward to you next week.
I think, and maybe it's good that Jordan is on the way out. The biggest thing is now you have 2 cornerstones. Like, it's time to actually build something around them versus kind of like what was alluded to, I think, last week. Charlotte and Jordan has really just been it was like the Clippers strategy before their current owner. Let's just draft, let those new, draft picks go away, come in, keep right around the salary cap a little bit under, and just collect revenue every year. And that's what Charlotte under Jordan's reign has been. Which, by the way, I told you I listened to Nick Wright, What's Right? And then he's on another podcast.
I like Nick Wright. One reason because he's a huge LeBron fan. So
it is hilarious because I was listening to a monologue from him the other day, and he's another person I try to catch usually during the day when I'm working. And he actually mentioned holding against Jordan the fact that he was a terrible owner in the GOAT discussion.
Yeah, I see that. We can't do that. I like listening to Nick Wright too, but come on, that's just outside of the game. If you think me honestly, and I've heard other people bring that up with shows. I'm like, dude, just come on. Yeah, he's not a great owner, but that has nothing to do with the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, he was a terrible owner. I mean, if you're trying to ever defend him as an owner, like you can't name one notable thing he did, except for draft bad players. So
I kind of feel like he just wanted to own a team just to own a team. You know what I'm saying? And not really have to deal with the day-to-day stuff. But
I agree with not making any good decisions. So and then that brings you to Scoot at number 3. And we're not going to recap the whole draft. These were kind of like the biggest moments, which of course also led to more Damian Lillard rumors. I feel bad for Scoot because it's like, great player, Portland has a decent young core over there. And then all of a sudden, he's got to deal with the Damian Lillard, who Scoot has personally already said, hey, I would love to play with Damian Lillard. Yeah. They're just not on the same timeline.
Right.
Portland has wasted it. Go ahead.
So, no, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
And so Damian Lillard is supposed to be meeting with Portland, like, as we speak.
Okay.
To discuss the future. But go ahead.
And that might lead into what I was going to ask you. So if you're Portland, what do? You have 2 options. You just keep Damian Lillard and see what happens. Now you have a kind of a not necessarily a crowded backcourt, but you have him, Scoot, and Anthony Simons. Or do you try to trade Damian Lillard and try to get some picks? Because I don't know where Portland's going to pick next year's draft. But if you can kind of get some good picks or maybe some build up your front court or something like that to kind of help out the guards. That's kind of like what I would do if you got a young nucleus, a young, good, nice backcourt. Anthony Simons, I want to say he put up around 21 points last year because Damian Lillard was out. But
I agree. Yep.
And I think Scoot has the potential to put up some good numbers as well. So you got your backcourt.
Damian Lillard is too small with Damian.
Exactly.
And Scoot,
exactly.
Sure. Go ahead.
And Lillard is 30.
What I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Mike from the Air Raid just said to say trade him and rebuild in Portland. I think that's kind of along the lines that Herb and I agree with as well. Because Lillard is 34, I believe. 34, if not younger or older. But yeah, I think that's it. I think you got what you could out of Dame. He's still got some good years left in him, but you need somebody else to build around the young core.
Yep. They're not on the same timeline. His salary, because what he's a max player, is a little bit too high. Right. I think it's just time. Yeah. It's time to get what you can for him. He's 32. Okay. The fit has been mentioned to Miami. I would love the fit there. I don't know what you can out with him. If you can get any kind of draft picks and just get off that salary and turn the keys over to the young guys, that's what I would do with Portland.
Would you trade? What if they wanted to trade Bam for Damian Lillard?
They want Bam.
Yeah, I know.
But if you're Miami, that's you
need to keep your
closer to the championship.
You need to keep your rim protector. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep Bam and you got to keep Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And I'd almost say anybody else is expendable. Because then you can kind of slide in with a mini big 3 there. I know Bam isn't the scorer that a lot of these other guys are, but you got 2 guys who can take that over. And then the Heat have been really good at just picking people, out. They just got Jaime Haskell, whatever, from UCLA. I'm gonna mess up his last name, but
him. Yep.
See, yep. But I think they'll find some other good stuff, and I think they'll be fine if they have those 3.
I agree.
In the East, I think that'd be enough to compete for sure. You want to answer this question real quick?
What's that? Oh, yeah. This is so Air Raid Mike says, if you guys were drafted in the NBA, what round and pick would it be? And part B to this question is, if it's to a team that sucks, would you kind of pull like Eli Manning and say, hey, I don't want to be there and request a trade immediately? Eli Manning or even a John Elway type of thing. Yeah.
Rodg is a top 5. Well-rounded, versatile.
Are we going off what we just guessing? Or are we going off how we played when we actually played basketball?
When we actually played, Rodg is a top 5. He definitely he got the charisma, the charm. He'd be a first rounder, and he would carry the team. I would be like a mid to late pick because I didn't have the offensive game, but I would be like. And I also hope that we are gaining some size here because at 6 foot and 5'10",
I'm 5'10".
We're not
That's what will kind of slow me down. But I'm not gonna be honest, and E can even chime in on this. Herb was an absolute monster on defense. Great rebounder. He could help out. I don't think his main talent was offensive because he wasn't offensive minded focused. Herb was more of a team player, rebounder, play defense, and then he just wanted everybody else to help in and
that's
win.
The polite way of saying Herb couldn't shoot, which he couldn't. But I could play defense.
Yeah, but he could get to the hole. And trust me, if you played against Herb, you would not want to play against Herb again. It was like Herb was like a more calm version of Draymond Green, similar playing style, but he could actually score, and he wouldn't get on your nerves. Well, no, actually, he would get on your nerves.
I want that to be on my like scouting report. A more calm Draymond.
A more calm version of Draymond Green.
My goodness.
Herb might bump you down, but he'll help you out. Draymond Green will bump you down, look at you, yell at you. Slobber coming out, yeah, stomp on you. Probably like, hey, my bad, you good? Okay, cool. And then he'll get all in your face, and you'll be like, this Herb guy is like really getting on my nerves. But
we're gonna answer the second part of it, but we'll get to these comments. And Herb would not be number one. I don't know. It's weird for somebody else to tell you that you were really good, and then for me to downplay it. But I do feel like mid to late first round, but for offense and heart and hustle. Rodg and I also kind of grew up in eras when there wasn't really any training. Like we never had a camp that we ever went to. Nobody ever like took you aside and taught you anything. So
if we did go to camps, it wasn't like training like you mentioned. Though it was just like we're gonna put you guys together and play 5-on-5. That's pretty much what it was.
That's all it was. I'm not saying that would have affected anything better or worse, but my offensive game would have been terrible. So. Like a Dennis Rodman, I blocked more shots than Dennis.
Yeah, he blocked more shots.
I didn't wear a dress and I didn't marry myself.
Yeah.
other than those things, more Dennis Rodman than anything else.
Yeah.
And Rodg being a Curry. Rodg was always more skilled than I was.
I was definitely not a Curry. I just like trying to drive to the hole as much as I can. And then as I got older, I tried to develop somewhat of a jump shot. It had good days, but more bad days than good. So.
You know what I'll always remember about Rodg and playing sports is Rodg had the slowest spin move in the history of football, but it somehow worked. It was the weirdest thing. You felt like
whatever happens, whatever works.
Rodg would go. And I was like, I don't understand this. Like I felt like I was watching a movie and somebody paused it. So
oh my goodness.
And let's not even get started. Herb started off more like Theo Ratliff.
Theo Ratliff?
I mean, that's pretty accurate. Athletic, jumper, block shots, get rebounds. So that's definitely more of my skill set. So, and somehow we've gotten away. Oh, would we ever? No, I would not.
Oh,
I would play with whoever.
I would definitely
excited to get drafted.
Yeah,
so I would play there.
And I would be under the impression that it's just the beginning of my career, so I still have to establish myself anyway. So let's just see where this goes, and hopefully midway through my career, I get to some help or go to a better team or whatever. But no, I'm going to play wherever I'm drafted.
Yeah, we also grew up in an era where that's what you did too.
Yeah,
like we didn't grow up where people did this kind of changing teams like they do now. So all right, so that gets you for this first three, Rodg. Draft picks, kind of bringing it back in there. Was there any other surprise? Well, I guess personally for you, did you like what the Lakers did?
Yes and no. I liked. I mean, we got Jalen Hood-Schifino at 17. He's a point guard. I think he's like 6'1", 6'2". He's not.
Which is funny, Rod. Did you see the little post coming out today where people were posting that's like they drafted him just in case they lose Austin Reeves?
I didn't see that, but I could see why they would do that. I just didn't think we needed a point guard right away.
No.
And then we still have D'Angelo Russell. I don't know if they're going to re-sign him. They got Austin Reeves. You got Schroeder. And again, we don't know what we're going to do with all the other players. And then we got a shooting guard at number 17, Mojave King. I honestly don't know too much about him. He's 6'5".
What pick are you talking about now? You said 17 was Hood, and what pick are you talking about now?
47.
47. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Mojave King. He's a 6'5" shooting guard from New Zealand.
But you drafted him to the Pacers. Traded him.
Yeah, to the Pacers. Traded him to the Pacers. So, did we trade him?
Yeah, but you guys end up with Maxwell Lewis.
That's the name I was thinking about. They said good things about him. I heard good things about Maxwell Lewis, I think, based on his size. But again, with that late of a pick, you don't know. It's so hard to tell because it's all going to be based on what we're going to do with the current roster we have, who we're going to keep, who we're going to let go. And, I mean, if honestly, when you're coming to the Lakers, even if you're a high draft pick, you still got LeBron, you still got AD. You're going to be a little lower on the totem pole. So,
yeah.
I'm glad we were able to actually draft some guys. That was pretty cool to see that happen.
That's funny.
So
I don't see them drafting somebody as a replacement for Reeves. Then you have to start over, and you're wasting.
I wouldn't do it. Why would you draft someone for somebody you know is proven to play in the league? And Reeves is still extremely young, extremely hungry, and he wants to prove himself even more. So,
and I feel like he's got kind of the LeBron stamp of approval, too, which is really important for young guys. And I think he has the confidence to be like a number 3 option, which sounds weird, but that's a huge. There's a lot of guys who can't handle being number 3.
Right.
You know? Like even look at Dylan Brooks, who
oh wow.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that we think it's weird, but that's one of the reasons why he was ready to leave Memphis anyway, is because of that. So a lot of guys can't handle that. I think Austin Reeves is a good pickup. The biggest thing now is somebody going to offer him a huge contract to make the Lakers match. So the Spurs
I don't know.
And they have been linked to it. So
who, the Spurs?
Yeah.
That would be a huge fall off for him. It's like going to the Western Conference Finals to like San Antonio. And yeah, you got Victor Wembanyama, but I mean, wow.
The Spurs would be more along his timeline than the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know, imagine you sign a 4-year deal with the Lakers right now. Years like 3 and 4, not going to be. You're pretty much banking on trying to win a title. Now, I mean, if they match the contract to anybody else, then all that's me. If you're going to make your money, make your money. But your timeline is probably more in line with the Spurs than it is with the Lakers.
The Lakers,
long term. So
the only thing they could change that if the Lakers win a championship over the next 2 years. But
I really you're basically taking a 2-year shot. Yeah. To your point. So I agree. But overall, you're pretty happy with their draft, and
I'm happy. We got some new young talent. I'm pretty sure they'll put them right into the G League and summer league and see what they could do there and see how they can help out. But I'm okay. You know, we didn't have the number 1 and number 2 pick, so I wasn't really expecting too much from this draft anyway.
I gotcha. What about the latest little rumor that LeBron is unhappy with AD?
I've heard that for a while now, and I feel like that's something that's been going on for years as far as his frustration with AD. And I think it's true. Obviously, I don't have LeBron's personal contact information yet.
Well, you always say that you do.
Hold on, Okay, Bob said I could be honest. I do have his personal phone number.
We knew that.
So, you know, I'm the inside source. LeBron is a little frustrated. AD was good and bad in the playoffs throughout the year. I'm not just talking about the conference finals. He was inconsistent. That was, I think, the biggest thing with me and biggest thing with LeBron and biggest thing with Laker organization and the Laker mania, whatever you want to call it. I just don't know if AD is going to change. You know, I don't know what his offseason training looks like. I don't know how close he is to LeBron regarding that. And I hope the relationship changes, but LeBron knows that these years are becoming thinner and thinner, and that window is starting to close even more. It started to open up a little bit last year when we got in the Western Conference Finals, but after we lost to the Nuggets, I'm not going to say what you thought I was going to say. After we lost to the Nuggets, LeBron was like, okay, I really got to do some thinking. Yeah.
Maybe it's how they lost by not winning any games. But
okay, so E has a comment here. All right.
So and I have to make this man a graphic.
Yeah, we do. And I got his music. You ready?
Yeah.
Cue me in 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Breaking news is NBA summer to-do list. Go ahead.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. For those who watched our YouTube channel when Rodg was doing all of our theme music, that's kind of a for I like it, Rodg. I like it. So,
thank you. Did
you stay up all night writing that, or was
not this one? This one was just kind of spur of the moment type thing. So no. Mm-hmm.
For those of you watching for the first time, shame on you. Where have you been?
Yes.
But E has been giving us some insights for each team. First, he started with teams that were eliminated. Now he's just picking a team at random each week to continue because we've enjoyed the segment so much, to be honest. So thank you to E for always coming up with this. And a lot of his stuff, teams were picking the first and second things off the list, such as firing coaches. So he's got a lot of pull in the NBA. So sign Grant Williams. That's an interesting one because Boston is definitely going to lose him, and we'll talk about those trades like with Porzingis coming over. So I like the toughness he brings and probably a little bit more outside shooting. Yeah,
he's a pretty good perimeter shooter. Yep.
I think he was definitely unfairly criticized in the Boston series.
Yeah.
What happened? Trade for OG Anunoby, like that one, and Pope, I like that. So I wonder if Toronto would let him go, Jacob, because I'm gonna mess up his last name, just because they traded for him during the year. But I would like both of those pickups for sure. Sign Seth Curry. You know, I'm always a fan of the Seth Curry pick.
Yeah.
Just because I think he's an underrated shooter out there.
Yeah.
Sign Mo Bamba. Roger, y'all ready to give up on Mo Bamba?
I think they are. again, and this is something I've mentioned previously, I just wish I had gotten to see more of him throughout the playoffs, but he was injured and he wasn't able to kind of prove his worth. So if we let him go, I'm okay with that.
Right.
Had I seen,
you have no idea what you're losing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what we would have had there. So if he goes somewhere else and shines, good for him.
And then
sign the EuroLeague MVP.
I like this one. The EuroLeague MVP from Europe. I would love that. Would be a great pickup too as well.
E did some digging. He did some really.
He did.
Shout out to E.
Yep. And here's what he's They need some defense.
They need defense. Yeah, because I think with a little better defense, they probably could have beat Golden State in that first round. And they just basically turned it into
maybe Fox doesn't get hurt. So
that too.
And this guy from Denver is just putting brooms out there. I don't
know who that is. Rayad Podcast. I don't know who that is. I don't know how he got into StreamYard. I don't know how that works. This whole internet thing is just so new to me.
Crazy. Yeah. Okay. So no idea what the brooms could mean, or
I don't know. Maybe he's cleaning up the house. I have absolutely no idea.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So, was there anything else that stood out from you with the draft, Rod, or did you want to kind of move into the trades from last week?
One question for you first before we move on.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to win Rookie of the Year?
Wembanyama.
Okay.
If not him. Okay, so if Lillard does get traded.
Okay, there you go.
And they give the keys to Scoot. Because he has the ball in his hands like every play as the point guard,
right?
I would like his chances.
He
would be my number one maybe in that case.
You share my thoughts exactly. I said if Damian Lillard's still there, he's not going to have the ball enough to shine. But if Lillard's gone, he will, and then there's a possibility he can get up there. But I think Scoot Henderson is going to be a future Hall of Famer. He just seemed like a good kid, good work ethic, grounded, humble. Good build, good size to him, and I think he's going to be a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll go to Hall of Fame just yet, but I do like your sentiment. I think you're spot on in your analysis. So
when we're doing the podcast 20 years from now, remember I said that.
I'm marking it down in my notes. I'm going to keep the same notebook. So we also didn't mention Noah Clowney did get drafted as well.
I was excited about that. He went to Brooklyn at 21, I believe. I was very excited about that because I didn't know if he was going to make it into the first round or not. So I was very, very happy for him. I liked him at Bama. Good perimeter shooter, good big man, played really, really good defense. So I think he's going to be a good fit. Good fit for Brooklyn. Very happy for him.
And then a sneaky pick, Raj, Nick Smith Jr. going to the Hornets at 27. Injuries kind of derailed him at Arkansas, but that was a guy that people thought could be a top 5. So
good
just another pick to point. And then you got to give shout out to the Thompson twins for going 4 and 5.
4 and 5, right. That was awesome. And I think Bediako ended up. He was undrafted, but he signed with San Antonio, correct?
I didn't even see that.
I think he signed with San Antonio like sometime last week. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I feel like that had to be the plan, like all along, because none of us felt like he was going to get drafted. But
I didn't think he was going to get drafted. Yeah, he is signed to San Antonio.
Okay. So maybe he'll supplant Victor Wembanyama and be Rookie of the Year.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Well, gotta have hope. We've made it to the 4th inning in the College World Series. LSU is still up 6-2, so Florida got out of that disastrous inning, but have not yet been able to catch up. So, what else you got, Rod? You want to look at the big trades from the past week?
Yeah, let's take a look. Which
trade was bigger to you, the CP3 trade or the Porzingis trade?
I would say the Porzingis trade. I think that's definitely going to be a lot better for Boston. Really, really made out well with that one. I mean, CP3, I liked him as a player.
He's not retired.
I know he's not retired, but come on, let's admit his best years have definitely passed him several years ago. Yep. Is he even going to start at Golden State? Because that's a really small backcourt.
So let me tell you, going back to what Nick Wright, because I kind of like this sentiment. He said it. This was before he got traded, obviously. He's like, if I'm Washington, I tell him don't even report until like January, right before the trade deadline. And then they trade him instead of buying him out. He said when he goes to Golden State, I would tell him the same thing. You don't even have to report until January. We're not going to need you until like really the stretch run and the playoffs. the biggest thing for him is staying healthy.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll start. I think he might be the leader of the second unit, and then they'll spell minutes because he doesn't really fit what the rest of the team
doesn't.
does.
He doesn't.
Can you imagine a 4-man fast break and you look back and the guy with the ball is always way back there?
As much as their offense moves around, I don't think CP3 is in that type of shape to be running around doing all that cardio too.
No, really the only one that's in that kind of shape is Steph, and then half of Clay. Everybody else is just like, okay, Draymond gets the ball top, he ain't running nowhere.
No.
If Draymond does. Now, Draymond did opt out. And then the second trade Arnold Liz will talk about, they got a Poole out of there, so I expect Draymond back. But the Porzingis trade was funny because the first trade fell through, and they basically called Porzingis and said, don't start unpacking.
Yeah,
we're trading you.
Right.
We're just going to figure out the rest of the pieces. So for Boston, did you like losing Marcus Smart to get Porzingis?
No, I didn't. I really like Marcus Smart. I think he was a staple in that heart of that Boston Celtics team, especially defensively. And he was there, a huge bonus whenever he could put you up a few points as well. And they already got 2 elite scorers. I mean, Porzingis will help out. My only question with Porzingis is his injury status. I mean, he's healthy now, obviously, but can he stay healthy and help Boston win some games? But to answer your question, I really wish Marcus Smart could have stayed there. And I don't like him on Memphis. Memphis just has such an odd team.
He's gonna be mad every game.
He's gonna be really mad. He's like, wow, from here to Memphis. So yeah, shout out to Marcus Smart. I like him as a player. I think he's a good player, heck of a defensive player too. So
this is East coach. This is about CP3.
CP3, yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I agree with that 100%. That one. And then, we'll talk about the other trades, but you want to get this question up real quick?
Yeah, I heard that. Saw that this morning. Josh Collins got traded to.
Yeah, I definitely see Paul coming off the bench, and he means John Collins here being traded.
John Collins got traded to Utah, I believe, for like Rudy Gay and a second round pick or something like that.
Yeah, basically they dumped salary.
Yeah, basically. Rudy Gay's like 38 years old, I think. He's way past his prime, and then they're just trying to get out the money. They're just trying to free up space. I think it freed up about $25 million for the Atlanta Hawks. So
they got a trade exception worth 25.3.
Okay.
Too, and then they did get off of his because he's like, what I write down, 3 years and $78 million left for Collins. So they're getting off that. Now, if there's another big move to be made, then it's a good trade for them. But Collins' worth was like a couple years ago, and they couldn't get him traded, and now it's just declined every year since. So, and he's not going to, with Murray and Young out there already, you weren't going to get many touches.
Right. I agree.
It's basically a salary dump at that point, but it is what it is. So that was the Collins trade you had in there, Rodg. Dame was meeting with them. CP3 for Poole. We kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
That was basically the punch. Loomed over everybody for the whole year, and they finally had to do something about it.
Yeah, and I even said that I think Jordan Poole was more of a distraction on that team than he was a good player. He's such a streaky player too, and they just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So they said bye. He'll be in Washington, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be gunning in Washington whenever he gets in the game. If he starts, so be it. But the shots are going to be divided up between him and Kuzma right now. So
if Kuzma's still out,
if Kuzma's still there, yeah.
So I thought he had an option to get out of there too. Everybody's leaving Washington. They're burning the whole.
I don't blame him.
So
I don't blame him.
But yeah, Poole will average, good 20, 25 easy and take good 20, 25 shots a game. So
and wait till he plays the Warriors that one game. He's gonna try to just go out there and be like, I'm getting 50 this game. Yeah. Like, okay, you could score 50 and lose. Like, win the game. We really won't care. So
imagine the chance he's gonna hear though if the game is at Golden State.
Oh my goodness.
Especially if it was a college game. You know how college kids get down. So
Oh yeah.
So
and he says that Kuzma is a free agent. I didn't I thought he was still with the Wizards, but I think he's out there on the market.
I feel like he opted out, Rodg.
Yeah. So he's trying to see what's gonna go on there. He declined his player option. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, E, for that info.
Yeah.
Interesting to see where he goes. I want to see what the market's like for him and who's looking after him right now. He's still young. I think he can give you 18 to 20 a game, if not more. Just depends on what type of nucleus he's surrounded around.
Yeah. So, and but also what kind of money he's looking for too, though.
Yep.
And we already touched on this. We kind of gone around. What do you think Dame is saying in the meeting right now in Portland?
Honestly, it's like, I I think he's saying something he should have said years ago. He's like, I just don't know if I want to be here anymore. I want to go to a contender. I've only got a few years left. I want to go to a contending team. And I think he really wants to go to Miami. That's what he's telling them and trying to see if they can get that worked out.
Yeah. Did you hear what he had? His top two was like Miami and
Brooklyn. Yeah. I never understood the Brooklyn. I was like, well, I don't know why you would go there. Maybe because the market's big there. I guess.
Because he likes Bridges. He said that's my.
But come on, you got to get over that.
We could be friends in the offseason.
if you're trying to win a championship, you need to go somewhere else that's better for you. So.
This is somebody I used to hoop with back in the day. See, he could have told you where I would have been drafted, Rod. What's up, Reg? How you doing, bro? Appreciate
What's going on, Reg?
He was actually talking to me, Raj, so he's not part of the RFC.
Oh, okay. Thank you. He must
there
we go. What's going on, Reg?
Let me down. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Dame wants to be in New York.
Because they just picked up Brunson, I think that's kind of squashed that whole dream because that would have been a great pickup for them. So great. Reg is giving us the questions. I'm not sure. We had a question earlier. I don't know if that's what he's talking about. Where would Rodg not be drafted? So if we were in the NBA. So I don't know if that's the question you're asking or not. So
Herb, what's that do? We all know.
Oh, he said no. I mean Brooklyn. Okay.
Oh yeah. He meant Brooklyn.
Specific, and the only reason why I said with I guess I'm thinking like
you're thinking the Knicks.
In a whole other state. I'm thinking like Brooklyn. I'm sorry, is in a whole other place. So sorry.
No, Brooklyn is in New York.
And thanks, Rod. I appreciate that. I was that dude for rebounding the ball. I will never give myself credit as a scorer.
I know it. Reg knows it. Ease knows. We all know Herb was that guy. Herb was at the rec on the University of Alabama campus every day. He came in there with his backpack, just dragging his feet. But he would take his backpack off, put on his shoes, goggles. Yes, sometimes I don't know. Did you always play in goggles, or was it just?
No, goggles was early on. That was my greatest weapon.
That was your James Worthy days. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that was my greatest weapon.
And Herb in the squad. It was Herb E, and there was some other.
Jason.
I think Jason. Yeah, there's some other people in there, and just they would be on the court pretty much until they got tired because they rarely lost. And there were some good hoopers in there. So Herb, yeah, Herb in his prime was a monster. And don't let me tell him about what happened when we lived in Germany and when you blocked that young lady's shot. I'm not gonna bring that up, but unless people want to hear about that.
Nobody wants to hear that story. Nobody.
Quick story. So when I was in sixth grade and we lived in Germany, I had this friend. One of my friends' name was Dana. She was a young little girl. We all played basketball together, whatever. Me and Dana were at the outside basketball court one day shooting basketball. All of a sudden, everything gets in slow motion. I look to my left. Herb opens up the fence to the court. Herb walks in by himself, and I'm like, why? Why can't I just have fun playing basketball with my friend? I know Herb's just coming out here to destroy all of my happiness for the rest of the day. Herb comes out here. We're shooting the ball.
Destroy all my happiness?
Dana gets the ball. I forgot if she was at the three-point line or not. She shoots the ball. All of a sudden, it's in slow motion like the monstrous villain. Herb comes, blocks her shot. It goes over the fence, over a building, over a highway, into an entirely different country. I look at Dana. She's laying down on the court, crying, tears coming down her eyes. So discombobulated and confused that this older guy just blocked her shot that bad and treated a little kid that bad. But that's my brother. He was so competitive.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness! All right, now you got some comments to catch up.
I knew that was gonna drop some.
Great shooter. Jason can shoot, Rod. The only time we ever struck somebody didn't let them score because we won 12-0.
Yep.
Jason had to have 8 or 9 of them, and he started pulling up from half court to do it. So this was my only real skill out there was going to get rebounds, so that's what I did all the time.
Herb would do all the dirty stuff nobody else wanted to do.
Is laughing at us. And was he blocking women's shots? Yes. If my mom got stepped on the court, I'd have to block her.
Herb would block his shot. Yes.
Yes. So, and no, we are not talking about any more blocking.
We're not talking about that.
Definitely no Herb versus women stories.
And for you guys, that story that I told is true. Now he didn't block it over the fence, all that. That was a little. I added an extra little drama in for flair, but that story is true, and it was hilarious. We still joke about it, obviously, till this day.
getting booed by Reggie and air raid Big Mike or excuse me Mike over there. He loved the story. Which, by the way, he threw in one in the middle here, the Zion baby mama story.
I mean,
so now she got it. Not the baby mama, but the Mariah Mills. The
Mariah
one
Mills got his name tattooed. Yeah, I saw that
name tattooed on. I'm like,
she's never gonna get over this. I mean, just move on. Good Lord.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's the whole thing is crazy, Mike. Yes. Yeah. Everything. So, well, Rodg, let's get to the question I had for you since we're kind of running. Yep. So, Stephen A. Smith had a segment, Rodg, where he mentioned after the where he mentioned the Bradley Beal no trade clause.
Yeah.
And I guess we barely can even touch on Bradley Beal. Oh no, we did talk about that last week. And he mentioned the 5 players in the league, only 5. That should have no trade clauses. Did you want to guess who those 5 are real quick, or you want me to just give them to you?
You can give it to me.
Okay. Steph.
Right.
LeBron.
Right.
Giannis.
Okay.
Jokic.
Yeah.
Tatum.
So I would have got 4 of those. I didn't know about Tatum.
Tatum was the tough one.
Yeah. I would have got the other 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in response to that, and for Rodg's top 5, which may become a regular segment every week.
Yep.
I give him a random question, and he has the week to prepare it, so he's not just shooting off the hip there. Carlton or Herb, who wins a 3-point contest? Carlton, we have a friend named Carlton.
I know, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, he means Carlton from Fresh Air.
Fresh Air.
I wouldn't miss the whole backboard like he did. So I would at least
Herb was a little more accurate than that.
Yeah. But if you have me out there shooting threes, then I'd probably also run back and get the rebound too. So that was the only thing. And yes, I remember that because he takes the ball from Will and throws up that ball.
And it's all in slow motion, and then it just goes over. That was so funny.
I would at least hit the rim, Mike. It might be a long time. It might be the longest 3-point contest in history. All right, so the question I gave Rodg, top 5 players in the NBA right now that are the most watchable to you. And I defined it as you're paying big money for a basketball ticket to a basketball game, NBA game. You're going in person. You're paying $300, $400, $500, which is big money for us. What are your list of top 5 players that at least one of them needs to be in that game? LeBron, or I guess your top 4 list, because we already know LeBron is one.
Yeah, LeBron's definitely number 1. I got LeBron. And keep in mind, these next 2 names are when I'm going to name one, and it's just when he's healthy. Zion. I like watching Zion play. I love watching his high school highlights.
So you're basically saying you're never going to go to a game.
I like watching him at Duke, and I just think he's an absolute beast. I would love to see him play. I think Ja Morant is on the list. Ja Morant is exciting. He's good for a couple of dunks. He's a little
wild,
risque, if you want to say. But Ja Morant, Steph Curry, I want to be able to say that. I want to be able to tell people I saw the greatest shooter ever play on the court. That's 4. The 5th one.
I know you played around with some names.
Yeah, I played around. The 5th one, I feel like that 5th slot can be taken over by a lot of different names. I'll probably say KD. I've always wanted to see KD play in person. Yes, I think KD, the way he shoots, and he's just one of the best shooters ever as well. I would love to see KD play at number 5. And also at 5, I could see maybe Tatum. I see Joker, but no, I didn't put Joker in there because he's just not watchable. He's extremely efficient, but watching him just doesn't seem like the most entertaining type of basketball player. Who is everybody saying? Reggie saying Ja Morant, LeBron, Steph, Joker, and Bridges.
Bridges I'd have to see it for a couple of years as in Brooklyn before I do that. But I could see why on everybody else.
Yeah.
Joker would be like one of the most boring people to go watch.
Right.
It feels like, but you'd also know you're watching greatness at the same time.
It's an experience, yeah. So Herb, who would you have in there that I didn't name? Anybody else?
Steph. I like the Steph one, and I like Ja. If he's, I wouldn't hang out with him afterwards, but I would definitely.
Now Derrick Rose,
when he was healthy, he got his option. He's a free agent now, so it'll be interesting to see how his career ends up.
But that 2010, 2011 Derrick Rose was an absolute monster.
Yeah,
that was something else.
Steph would definitely be high on my list, Rodg. I could see KD if he just wasn't annoying me all the time, and I don't know if I want to go to a Phoenix game.
Yeah.
So I could go with your Ja pick. I might go see Joker just because him and Murray together, that could be fun. And if Aaron Gordon could give me a couple of dunks in that game while I'm watching the rest of them, that would be good. Who's this? Who'd you mention? Who's this LeBron guy? What team was he? I couldn't remember. I mean, but if I was going to a Lakers game to see LeBron, see, there's another good. I just can't pick. I'm just not going to give Zion any love because he ain't playing.
No, man.
I can't argue with the Zion pick. I'm just biased now because you never get to see him out there.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I hope he's on the court to start next season, though.
Yep. And this is definitely true. Joker go from 10 points, 5 rebounds to a truck. Yes.
Yeah.
And never like be demonstrative about this is a man said, I just want to go back home to my farm.
Right. So wait, the parade? The parade's Thursday? Oh man.
Yeah. So no, I can't argue with any of the other pick. Oh, there you go. Another question. So the top 5 arenas that you'd want to experience the game. I feel like LA and Boston gotta be on those.
Definitely the 4, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, the Staples Center. Wow, that's a good question. The Garden, definitely the Garden.
Yep.
What about?
Because those feel like the two meccas of basketball for sure.
Are we talking about Madison Square Garden or the Boston Garden?
Ooh, I forgot about it. So New York goes in the number. There's
I put
3
both of those up there. I put
New York, Boston, LA for sure. And I'm not as good with the names as Rodg is. Yeah. I feel like if you're going to go to Golden State game, you'd want it to be a playoff game where the atmosphere is high,
yeah.
And if you pick that in like 5 years from now, you might not want to go there. So
and going to a Golden State game might be expensive too. I'd be like, how much? Can I have a water? Yeah, that'd be $15. You know what?
Not really that thirsty.
Yeah, I'm not that thirsty.
Really that thirsty.
Yeah.
But I feel like LA, New York, Boston will be timeless as far as any time that you picked, you would go there. So those would be my top 3.
Yeah.
The other 2 would probably just depend on the team at the time.
Yeah.
Like he's pitting out Golden State, Miami. Miami's probably a fun place regardless. So that'd be my number 4. My number 5 would be in flux.
Yeah.
So give you a couple of New York, Boston, Golden State, LA, Miami, that list. Staples, Garden, MSG, San Antonio. I guess because I always associated with with Tim Duncan.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Feels boring to me.
Yeah.
So that's and then the people of San Antonio we probably just lost all their viewership.
Yeah.
But I agree. Miami, I overlooked that one, so that was a good pickup by both of you guys. Oh, and Air Raid is going back with your other one, Rodg.
LeBron, Trae Young, Steph, Joker, and Booker. Yeah, Booker. I could put Booker up there somewhere, maybe 5 or 6. So I can see that.
Yeah. Trae Young, I wouldn't go watch a regular season game. I'd probably only want to watch him in the playoffs because that seems like I don't know, when you're going to get his best or when it's a huge stage. Like Trae Young versus New Orleans probably isn't a great game, but Trae Young versus like Boston versus New York is like when he steps up. So
yeah.
Oh, and LSU's really they'd already broken
it's up
it
10-2, right?
More broken open,
Yeah, College World Series, LSU's winning 10-2. What inning is it in now?
So I think it's still in the 4th.
Top of the 4th. So
wow.
Okay, cool.
I mean, do you think Trae Young is going to win a championship in Atlanta, though? I think that's the big question.
So.
No. Speaking of questions, Rodg, we're getting late in the podcast. Do you want to hit me with the?
Are you ready?
With the So this is time for the 3 questions of death.
Yeah.
You have to pick your game wisely with Ice Trae. You were 100 because that game they lost when Murray with the game they won when Murray was out.
Yep.
And he won it. Yeah, it was that was a huge game. So that was fun to watch too. I couldn't believe he carried him when he did. So, all right, bring it on, Rodg.
All right, 3 questions of death. Number 1, we're going to start off with work, play, live. If you don't know what work, play, live is, I'm going to give her 3 names. He has to pick which person he would want to be his coworker, which person he would want to be his neighbor or live in his neighborhood, whatever you want to call it, and which person he would want to just hang out with for a night.
Yep.
Here we go. Work, play, live. Bill Belichick, Bobby Knight, and Nick Saban.
Oh my God.
Work, play, live.
Saban, right, so
Belichick, and Bobby Knight.
We always play is usually the easiest one. So we're gonna play with Bobby Knight. It's gonna end in a bar fight.
That's gonna be a fight, yeah.
But that would definitely be it. I feel like with Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, I'm getting the same person.
Right.
So I'll probably live next to Nick Saban just because who was it put it last? Mike, I think Big Mike put it where I know I'll be rich in that case and I'll be living in a nice neighborhood. And I think that might be the only time he might be in a natural element to where like he's a little more relaxed, you know. Right. Bill Belichick, I guess I'll work with, but I can just see him showing up every day at work with his hoodie and getting everything precise and blah blah blah. So, and that's a long. See, Bobby Knight's the easy one. You go play with him. Live Belichick, work with Saban. I think I could have those either way. So yeah. I'd like to see Saban in a little more relaxed. I can't imagine working with Saban because that's
oh my gosh.
You know, where are your TPS reports? Like your TPS reports, like I was like, oh my god.
And for people who don't know what the TPS reports are, please watch Office Space. I think this movie came out in 1999. It was absolutely hilarious.
See, that's what he said. I wouldn't want Saban cursing at me.
Exactly.
So that's why I switched to the name.
That would be an uncomfortable work environment.
Not that Belichick is going to be any better though, but yeah.
Question number 2. Let's just say pickleball has become increasingly popular over the past 1 or 2 years. Let's just say you have to select the owner for your new pickle team, which is going to be in Las Vegas.
Okay.
Out of these 3 people, who do you want to be your owner? Who's going to be morally responsible and everything as your owner?
And you're going to give me the 3 worst people that you could think of. Go ahead.
Of course I can. Pete Rose.
Okay.
Calvin Ridley or Jameson Williams. And you can see why I picked those 3 names.
Yes. So,
who do you
out
want
of
to be?
The 3, only one of those people wasn't betting on their own team or own sport. So, I mean, if those are the 3, like, so it can't be Calvin Ridley because he was betting on the Falcons. Like, that's just one of the worst things I've ever heard of. Pete Rose was betting, which, by the way, I do think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose was betting on his own team while he was managing. So I guess I'll go with J-Mo and just explain the rules. But he'll also be in Vegas, so you can bet wherever you want. So out of those 3, I guess I'll go with J-Mo.
Okay.
But that's not a good, like, I'm not winning.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. This is a fun one. Let's just say the entire family, all of us, except for your future niece and nephew, they couldn't go. So we had to find a babysitter.
Okay.
Out of these 3 people, who would you want to babysit your future niece and nephew?
We're talking about your kid.
Yeah, my kids, your future niece and nephew.
How old are they?
Let's just say they're 1.
Okay.
Batman, Superman, or Iron Man?
Superman.
I feel like
most natural powers.
Yeah.
Okay, so Batman would make Robin watch them while he went out. Iron Man would build something to watch them and monitor them, and he would leave. Superman would only be the most compassionate to actually stay with them, do stuff, fly out of super speed to get something, be back before anything happened. But he would be the most compassionate out of all.
Iron Man would be like, "You fell down, you're bleeding. Are you gonna be okay? Like, why'd you do that to yourself?" They'd just be sitting there crying.
By the way, Reg goes with Iron Man. So
Iron Man. No, I'm not going with Iron Man.
I feel like he would build something and then abandon the kids for sure. So
yep.
And here, going back to the other answer, he would work with Saban because he'd be more understanding.
I don't know.
I'd still be scared. So.
Yeah.
Iron Man would teach him something. I agree with that. It's not something.
Nothing they need to know at 1 year old. Yeah.
I come home and my 1-year-old's built a fusion reactor. So that would definitely be interesting. So.
Oh man.
Thanks a lot, Rodg, for giving me crappy choices on everything. Appreciate it. Calvin Ridley and Pete Rose. So appreciate you, Air Raid.
Appreciate it, Air Raid.
One of our favorite people and one of our favorite podcasts to be on and watch.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Have to check him out. Rodg, you got a minute. So real quick, one of my last little notes on here. JQ entering the portal.
I don't like to see this. I still don't quite understand. I understand that Saban, not Saban, but I understand Nate Oates has a couple transfers coming in. Sears is coming back. But I still thought that Sears and JQ had a good start. They were a good backcourt. I thought they were really good backcourt. A few turnovers here and there, but that's going to come with almost a lot of backcourts anyway. So it makes me wonder if something else happened to make him unhappy at the University of Alabama and been there for 3 years. Unfortunately, one of those years he had a bad injury towards ACL, but he came back strong, had a good year last year. I thought he was going to finish his career out next year and possibly see where he can get drafted, but
did test the waters in the draft. Did come back. And so, but probably, and this is from our text messages with Big Mike and stuff.
Yeah,
he made a good point. Probably wanted to be promised a starting job, and that's not a promise that could be made to him.
You can't do that at all. Yeah. So, and I'm interested to see where he goes because does he think he's automatically going to start at this new spot? But who knows?
Yep. And that's, the beauty of the portal. He does get to pick it and check and see. So,
right.
All right, we're leaving you at LSU 10, Florida 2. So, look, and the ump just got hit by a batted ball. So,
and it's only the fifth inning. So, I might tune into some of this.
You're not going to, but that's a good way to get out. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate everybody.
And the questions, man, that was a lot of fun. I think Mr. You posted up, Rodg, like here's the notes that end up getting made for the show. I don't know if you can see the glare.
I can see them now. Yeah. Oh wow.
And we don't end up using like
a lot
half of that. Yeah, just because the way the show flows. So.
Hey, I got stuff over here too. Some of these I'm going to have to throw away because I don't think we're ever going to do. Well, actually, these are old ones too. So I can disperse these. Yeah.
I just want to let the people know that we're prepared. But man, I love the interaction more. And I love the way that goes. So appreciate everybody for Herb and Rodg, the Herb and Rodg podcast.
Appreciate you guys.
As long as we'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week. Yeah.
You guys, everybody have a great night. And as always,
roll Tide.